So I have the Revit screen on just as a background before I open up TestFit. I hope you have it installed and we're ready to go. So I'm going to click on my TestFit icon. I get a user authentication screen showing up, and it's going to boot onto my main screen. So what I need to do is just take a second here and reduce it down in size so I can bring it over to our other monitor here. And I find that, TestFit's a small startup company, and the kind of their user friendliness or software friendliness to the monitor is a little bit questionable. I'm going to go full screen, and you'll notice how we get a black screen here. Just takes a minute. It's probably using some kind of screen drawing techniques that are different than some of the other software I use. But we're at the start screen for TestFit now. It's just like very similar to a Revit one, maybe just a little more visually pleasing. Recent files that I've been working on. It has a tutorial, quick start guide. The tutorial is generally oriented for people who might be developers. I think it's really worthwhile to kind of step through this, especially because the interface changes all the time, just with one that's specific to us. So that's what I'm kind of hoping to do here. So I'm going to go over to New Project. And right away we got a screen that really has nothing on it. And the first thing we do is pick an address. So I'm going to pick Alfred. And I hit return on that, and it's going to come up with, oh, I spelled Alfred wrong. Let me add an L in there. And the first one on the top of the list. And it's easy to hit this, and it doesn't do anything. You're going to hit the one below it. And amazingly fast, we are zoomed into Alfred, New York. If I hold the center scroll button, I can pan on the screen. We're going to draw over here, very similar to how we would have done in computer viz when we were working this site. And the first thing you need to do in order to actually be able to populate anything is to look at this flashing ad, and we're going to add a site, and this will open up our site tool. We have a bunch of things that we can pick. I'm not sure how meters and bounds works, but I do know how draw boundary and select from parcels, and we're going to do draw boundary first. So I'm going to just click on that, and then we go into a mode. Let me make sure I select that properly. See, once again, this is kind of glitchy. There we go. Almost unintuitive. So I'm just going to draw a basic size boundary of, let's say, where the campus has acquired a property. I'm going to close it off here. And we'll start out with a low density development. We'll do a single family. Actually, we'll do a subdivision. And I like this one just because it's visually richer. Some of these are better looking than others because they've had more time developing them. So they've coded the building types. But you can see how quickly we populated this. And this is fully parametric. So if we wanted to change the amount of side setbacks, we can. It gives us a standard setting for that according to an applied zoning ordinance. And then this is fully parametricized, allowing us a great deal of flexibility. So we were using the, to draw the site parameters. We can do parceling also. But before we leave that, I wanted to show you some other features here. We can highlight the satellite model. It makes you wonder why Revit just doesn't have these kind of features built into it. I can also turn the topography on, and I can go back. I'm going to turn the topography on, and I'm going to turn off the parceling. And then once again, here we have this kind of I don't know where we're at. It's almost like there's three things. There's no map, a map, and or the satellite image. So we'll just go to the parceling again. I'm going to turn off the terrain, even though what is so interesting is we know that we have this such sharp change in terrain. But if we look at this as a 3D model, you'll notice that TestFit is making no accommodations for terrain. Obviously another important thing that we would want to be able to do. And it looks like we can actually adjust the, amazingly, it looks like we can adjust the topo here. So we can have isobars, or I don't know what they're called, contour lines at a very close interval or spaced away. Just an amazing amount of feature set that I wish our other software had. So there we have our setup, and this is parametricized as I showed you. We can change our our layout. This is a pond here. We actually can control the size, the amount of space that we allow for that pond. So if I change it to 5%, it would get smaller. If we go to 3D view, we can turn shadows and lighting on, and control some other features with that. We can toggle colors for the other features. You'll notice how it's automatically putting trees and driveways in. And we can also turn the parcels on. And obviously it's kind of unremarkable here for Alfred because we have low buildings, but in places like New York City or other dense cities, that terrain can really add a lot of site context out of the box for us. So that was our idea of doing this as a single parcel. Or excuse me, as a hand-drawn one. In the next clip, I want to show you how we'll do that in parceling.